The eviction notice was taped to the door like a final insult, bold red letters, curling at the edges from the heat. Maya stared at it while her keys dangled in her hand. Tessa stepped up behind her, grocery bags in her arms. "It came?" she asked softly. Maya didn't answer. She ripped it off the door and walked inside. The apartment smelled like paint thinner and microwaved noodles. Their home, cracked tiles, unframed canvases, a second-hand couch that sagged in the middle. 2 months, Maya muttered, tossing the notice onto the coffee table. They're really gonna do it. Tessa set the bags down and pulled out a loaf of bread and a carton of eggs. "We can talk to him. Maybe ask for an extension." Maya laughed, dry and bitter. "Ask Mr. Carson for mercy. That man charges us extra for light bulbs. He doesn't do favors." Tessa's voice lowered. "Then what do? We find the money." "Where?" Maya didn't answer. She walked to the window, cracked it open, and lit a cigarette. Her art supplies were piled on the floor, unsold canvases leaning against the wall like silent accusations. She had talent, everyone said so, but talent didn't pay rent. "We could call your sister," Tessa offered carefully. "No. She helped us once before." I said no. The room went still. Outside, the heat buzzed with cicadas and traffic. Maya exhaled a slow stream of smoke and closed her eyes. That evening, just before sunset, there was a knock at the door. Maya answered. Mr. Carson stood there in a polo shirt and khaki shorts, holding a tumbler of scotch like he was on a yacht, not managing a crumbling apartment complex. His smile was polite, but there was something behind it, something oily. "Evening, ladies," he said, looking past Maya at Tessa on the couch. "Got my little notice, I assume?" Maya didn't flinch. "We're working on it." "That's funny," he chuckled, stepping inside uninvited. "Because I've been hearing that for 8 weeks. Tessa stood. "We're not avoiding you. It's just been a hard few months." "I get it. I do." He swirled the drink in his glass. "But I've got bills too. So unless you're planning on handing me rent tomorrow." He let the sentence dangle. Maya crossed her arms. "You're here to evict us. I'm here to offer you options." Tessa looked up, confused. "What kind of options?" Carson took a seat without asking, leaning back, legs wide, the way some men did when they wanted to make sure you noticed. "I like the two of you," he said. "Really. You're good tenants, quiet, respectful. And it'd be a shame to kick you out over a little thing like money." Maya raised an eyebrow. "So what do you want?" He smiled. "Just a private conversation. One-on-one. You know, neighborly." Tessa's jaw tightened. "You're not serious." Carson shrugged. "You'd be surprised what can be negotiated over a bottle of wine and some soft music." Maya didn't speak. She just stared. Tessa snapped. "We're not prostitutes." "Didn't say you were," Carson replied, standing. "But in this economy, dignity's expensive. Think it over." He moved toward the door, then paused. "You've got until tomorrow night. Otherwise, I start the paperwork." The door closed behind him with a soft click. Silence filled the room. Tessa sat down hard on the couch. "Unbelievable. Absolutely." "He's not bluffing," Maya said quietly. "I don't care. We are not entertaining that. Maya, we'll figure something else out." "Like what?" "I don't know yet." Maya rubbed her temples. Her cigarette had burned down to the filter, smoldering in the ashtray. She didn't speak for a long time. That night, while Tessa showered, Maya stood in the hallway. Across from her, Carson's apartment glowed warm through the blinds. She watched shadows move inside. His silhouette pacing, drink in hand. She remembered a time when things felt easier. When they first moved in, when Tessa would come home from work and curl beside her on the couch with takeout and stories about rude customers. Now everything felt heavy, distant, like a painting slowly fading in the sun. Tessa came out of the bathroom, hair wet, towel around her. "You okay?" Maya forced a smile. "Yeah. Just thinking." "About what?" Tomorrow. They climbed into bed together. Tessa curled beside her, arm draped across Maya's waist. Her touch was soft, warm, familiar. Maya stared at the ceiling, eyes open. The next morning, Tessa left early for her shift at the bookstore. She kissed Maya's forehead and whispered, "We'll figure this out. Together." Maya didn't answer. She waited until she heard the front door close, then got out of bed. She didn't get dressed in anything revealing, just black jeans, a tank top, no makeup. She wasn't trying to seduce anyone. That wasn't the plan. She stood in front of Carson's door for nearly a minute before knocking. It opened immediately. "Well, good morning," he said, robe tied loose, coffee in hand. "I didn't expect you this early." Maya stepped inside without smiling. The apartment was exactly how she imagined. Leather couch, framed sports memorabilia, and the faint smell of cologne that tried too hard. "I'm not here for what you think," she said. Carson raised an eyebrow, amused. "You're not. I have a proposal." He sat down, motioned for her to continue. "You want something to make up for the rent," she began, voice flat. "Something physical. Something private. But you don't want me." "Not really." He tilted his head. "Oh, I think you're underestimating yourself." She shook her head. "You like the quiet ones. The good girls." "Tessa." His eyes flickered. The shift was small but noticeable. "You watch her," Maya said. "When we pass in the hallway. When she bends down to grab the mail. You always smile at her, but never too much. Just enough to get in her head." Carson said nothing. "So here's the deal," Maya continued. "You want something unforgettable. I'll set it up for you. I'll deliver her. Wrapped in a bow, metaphorically speaking. You won't have to lift a finger." Carson let out a dry laugh. "You're joking." "I'm not. You're offering me your girlfriend." Maya's jaw tightened. "I'm offering you a moment she won't even realize she walked into." He stood and walked to the window. "And why would you do that?" Maya leaned back, eyes cold. "Because I don't have the money. Because I'm tired of waiting for my art to sell. And because 6 months ago, I saw her smiling at some guy at the bookstore like he was her safe place. You want a night. I want a reminder of what she's capable of." There was a long silence. Carson stared out the window, tapping the edge of his coffee mug. "She'd never go for it," he said finally. "She doesn't have to know what's happening. I don't do force. No need. I'll prep her. She'll walk in there with her heart open and her guard down. All you have to do is be yourself." Carson turned around slowly. "You're a little colder than you look." Maya gave a slight shrug. "Survival makes people creative." By late afternoon the plan was in motion. Maya lit candles. She cooked Tessa's favorite pasta and played the jazz record Tessa loved but rarely requested. Tessa walked in just after sunset, weary from work. She paused when she saw the setup. "What's all this?" "I wanted to make you feel good tonight," Maya said, pulling her into a kiss. "We've had a hard few days." Tessa smiled, some of the tension in her shoulders easing. Over dinner, Maya brought it up gently. "Mr. Carson came by again today." Tessa stiffened. "What did he say?" "He actually apologized for last night. Said he was drinking, being inappropriate. Wanted to make it up to us." Tessa narrowed her eyes. "How?" "He invited us to his place tonight. Just to talk. Clear the air. He said he's open to working something out, maybe even giving us a little more time." Tessa looked unsure. "I don't know, Maya. That man gives me the creeps." "I know," Maya said soothingly. "But I think he realized he went too far. We should hear him out at least." Tessa hesitated. "Only if we go together." "Of course." An hour later they stood at Carson's door. Maya knocked. He answered with a practiced smile, wearing slacks and a button-up shirt this time. His hair slicked back. "Ladies," he said, stepping aside. His apartment was dimly lit, music playing low, wine already poured into 2 glasses. Tessa looked around uncomfortably. Maya placed a hand on her back, guiding her to the couch. Carson sat across from them. "I'm really sorry about last night," he said smoothly. "I had a few too many. But you're good people. I don't want to lose you as tenants." Tessa nodded cautiously. "We just need a little time. Things have been tight." "Of course." He handed her a glass of wine. "Let's talk. No pressure. Just neighbors." Maya sipped her drink, pretending to relax. Inside, her nerves were electric. She leaned over and whispered to Tessa, "I'm going to get some air." Tessa looked at her, then nodded slowly. Maya walked out to the balcony and slid the door shut. The glass was thin. She could still hear them inside. Soft voices, occasional laughter. She leaned on the railing, lighting a cigarette. Her hand trembled. But she didn't go back in. She stayed and watched. Inside, Tessa sat stiffly on the edge of Carson's leather couch, wine glass untouched in her hand. The room felt warmer than it should have, or maybe it was just the way Carson kept looking at her. Pleasant, polite, but always a second too long. "So," Tessa said, trying to ease the silence, "what kind of solution were you thinking about?" Carson leaned back, wine in one hand. His other arm draped across the back of the couch. "I just want to be clear, we're neighbors. No pressure. No expectations. But if I can help you two stay, and it benefits all of us, I'm open-minded." Tessa forced a smile. "You mean, like a loan?" Carson chuckled. "Something like that. Only with fewer strings." She didn't know how to respond. The silence between them thickened. She looked toward the balcony. Maya's silhouette was out there, just barely visible behind the glass door, staring off into the night, cigarette glowing red. "She's lucky to have you," Carson said softly. Tessa turned her attention back to him. "What?" "Maya. She's intense, fierce. But she doesn't show much affection. She's just under a lot of pressure." Carson nodded. "Still, you deserve to feel seen. Valued." His words were gentle, smooth, like the way her father used to talk when calming her as a kid. But beneath it, something darker hummed. She should have stood up. She should have walked out. But instead she took a sip of the wine. "I notice the way you carry yourself," Carson continued, voice low. "Like you're always preparing to leave the room before you even enter it. That's not your fault." Tessa laughed quietly, nervously. "Are you always this observant with your tenants?" "Only the interesting ones." There was a long pause. Then, without fully thinking, Tessa asked, "Do you think Maya even wants to stay with me?" Carson's eyes narrowed just slightly. "Do you?" "I don't know anymore." And then, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, Carson leaned forward, brushing a loose strand of hair from her cheek. She didn't pull away. When he kissed her, it wasn't rough or rushed. It was slow, calculated. And she kissed him back. On the balcony, Maya saw everything. She didn't flinch. She didn't turn away. She stayed perfectly still, smoke curling from her lips, watching as Tessa leaned into a man she claimed to despise. 15 minutes later, Tessa returned to the apartment alone. Her steps were quiet. Maya lay on the couch, pretending to be asleep. Tessa stood in the doorway for a long time before whispering, "I love you." Maya didn't respond. 3 days passed. No mention of the night. The eviction was cancelled. The rent was extended 6 months interest-free. Tessa pretended nothing happened. She made coffee, kissed Maya's cheek, went to work. Maya painted. She didn't eat much. But the brushstrokes were sharper, focused. Something inside her had finally clicked. It wasn't about Carson. It wasn't even about Tessa. It was about control. Because in the end, she was the one who opened the door. A week later, Maya received an unexpected invitation to a local gallery exhibit. She hadn't submitted work in months. But the curator, a young woman named Nina Carson, said she'd seen one of Maya's older collections and wanted to meet in person. Maya showed up early. The gallery was clean, minimal, the kind of space where every whisper echoed. Nina was younger than expected. Early 20s, delicate features, sharp eyes that missed nothing. "I've been following your work," she said, shaking Maya's hand. "It's chaotic, painful, but honest. Thanks. I think." They walked along the gallery wall, passing small canvases drenched in reds, blacks, and smears of white. "Your name caught my attention first," Nina admitted. "My dad mentioned you. You're his tenant, right?" Maya paused. "Your dad is Mr. Carson." Maya's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Small world. He said you were struggling. Said you might have been kicked out if it wasn't for negotiations." Maya turned to face her. "He tell you the details of those negotiations?" Nina's lips curled slightly. "He's a pig, Maya. I'm not here to defend him." "Good." There was a beat. Then Nina asked, "So, did you sleep with him?" Maya laughed. "No. But my girlfriend did." Nina raised an eyebrow. "That why you're still living there?" Maya nodded. "Rent-free 6 months. You're colder than you look." "So I've been told." Another pause. Nina leaned in. "What if I told you I just moved in with him?" Maya blinked. "You what?" "Yep. Told him I needed a break from college. He offered the guest room. Figured I'd see how he lives when no one's watching." Maya tilted her head. "And what are you going to do with that information?" Nina smiled. "Depends. You want in?" Maya studied her. This younger version of herself, maybe, with sharper teeth and a cleaner slate. "Maybe," Maya said finally. "Let's see how the first week goes." Back at the apartment that night, Tessa stood in the kitchen, stirring a pot of noodles. "You were gone a while," she said. "Gallery meeting," Maya replied, tossing her keys on the table. "Oh, that's great. Maybe something will sell." Maya didn't answer. She walked up behind her, placed her chin gently on Tessa's shoulder. "I missed you," Tessa said quietly. "I know," Maya whispered. But she didn't kiss her, didn't hug her. She just stood there, letting the silence speak.